Good afternoon, Jason.
Okay.
You obviously worked very closely with Cody Fajardo this year. What would you say are some of the qualities that define him as a quarterback?
That define him as a quarterback, first of all, he's a hard worker. He's dedicated to the craft. He's got the skill set to play this position at a high level. I mean, he's accurate as a passer. He's tough in the pocket. He's a great runner. He's smart. I mean, he's a studier as well. I mean, he doesn't just rely on the fact that he can talk the game or think the game. He really puts a lot of work into it. And he's a leader. He's got a lot of attributes that make him successful and help make us successful as a team.
In talking to Austin Mack, he used the term, he said he manages the game well. And I'm just thinking back in time and covering this league, sometimes that's been almost a criticism of a quarterback. How do you see it when somebody uses that term?
Well, I look at it in this Canadian Football League, you have to be able to manage a game. I mean, it's three-down football. There isn't a lot of time to error. I mean, there's parts of the game that are unique to our game, with the 3-minute situation or just the amount of possessions we get, and then looking at when it is three-down football, and if you're not managing the game very well and you're making poor decisions or you're not keeping the team on the field by getting completions and keeping the chains moving, you put a lot of people in peril throughout a game. So I don't look at that as a bad thing in this league, to be quite honest with you. Cody goes through his reads and his progressions and does what we're asking him. Obviously every quarterback will do something different at times when he sees something, but we've put in place game plans that he's followed, and some games call for a little bit different types of game plans, and other games call for something completely different. And I think Cody's more than capable of doing both. So I don't look at it as a game manager, but I wouldn't say it's a bad moniker to have.
And one last one for me. I've covered the Blue Bombers for a long time. I don't think I've ever seen them practice with music, and I don't know if a lot of other teams do in the league, but I'm just interested on your take on why you guys do it in that way.
Yeah, I think Christian hit on it. I mean, when we're teaching, we don't use the music. So if we're in a teaching moment, our special teams, you don't usually hear it. When we're working through cards and we're working through things, at the beginning of practice when we're walking through, we're not generally using it. But throughout the rest of the practice, I mean, what's a game look like? Most of the games are there's a lot of things going on in the atmosphere and, crowd atmosphere. So, you want to have guys that are kind of getting in a rhythm, or at least, I don't know if it's distracting. It's I'll tell you this, there's a big difference when you don't have it after you've had it. So I think it just keeps everybody just a little bit different in tune, I guess. Since we've gone to it, I've really enjoyed it. It takes a little bit getting used to, but once you have it, I mean, it's hard not to have it anymore, to be quite honest with you. So, and again, I think most people around will say they love music, different types of music, but you can appreciate music. And so when you're working, you kind of like to have the music, and that's what we do. We work and work extremely hard. So I think at times you really enjoy that atmosphere that music creates.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Jason, after last game, Christian Matt in his post-game speech, congratulated the defense, congratulated special teams, and when it came to the offense, guys, we're going to need to pick it up. Do you feel that your offense picked it up this week from what you've seen so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've had a good week of work, all three phases, to be quite honest with you. And again, a team wins on all three phases. It doesn't just win on one or two. It's got to take all three. So. We did our part on offense last week. Do we need to be better in all three phases this week? Absolutely. That was the mindset coming into this week was, we've gotten to this game, but in order to win this game, we better be better. We have to be at our absolute best to win this game. And the only way we could do that is getting better this week, working against one another, competing against one another in practice. So I believe our offense has gotten better because we've gotten 2 more days of work on the field. We had an extra 3 days of meetings, and I think we made our defense better, and I think our special teams worked extremely hard together. So I think as a team, we're going to be better. And that's what it's going to take. When you're talking about playing against a team that's, as tough to beat as Winnipeg is, you've got to be at your best. And so, yes, ultimately, I believe we've gotten better as an offense, and we have great confidence in our room that we'll go out there and do the necessary things to help our team win.
you've said many times this season that it helps your offense to work against your defense because they're such a great group. Winnipeg has a good defense too. How much how much is it good to count on such a great group on defense on your end to practice for a game like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's huge. You know, there's the saying, I see it in Hamilton's weight room there, iron sharpens iron. I mean, that's an old saying, but it's true. I mean, when you go against a team, and again, Winnipeg has a great defense, and you're going against what you arguably believe is one of the best in the league, playing at such a tough level, you feel like they make you better every single day. I think we make each other better. Offense, defense, like I said, when we go against one another, shoot, that's some really good competition there. And we give her in practice. That's one thing that we hang our hat on is you better be ready to practice if you play for the Alouettes. Because, you know, that's what we expect, that's our expectation. And it's only for that matter. We have so much respect for our opponents that if we don't give her every day, we're not going to be at our best. And we need to be at our best each and every week to beat people. So, you know, I think it helps tremendously to go against defense. The other thing that helps our offense, and maybe this is why we're good at, you know, taking care of the ball, is our defense looks to take the ball away all the time. So you've got to make good decisions for Cody in practice, working through progressions. Against defenses, we're going ones versus ones. We're not carding anything when we go against our defense. So they're putting up their game plan that they're going to do, and it's totally different at times than what we're going to face. So Cody's expecting one thing, gets a different look, and he's got to make a good decision and throw the ball accurately. Then once our guys catch the ball, we haven't been afraid to say, go knock it out. If you hurt one of our receivers and hit his hand and break a finger, we don't care. Like that's been our mindset all year. We've said in order for us to know what it's like to hang on to that ball when people are going to be around us, you better hit it and go after it. So our guys understand that when they go, they're going to get knocked out if they don't wrap it up and chin it. So, you know, that's just been our mindset since day one. We work in the dirt and we get a lot out of it. And I believe that's one of the reasons we're here.
Thank you.
Coach Maas, how do you deal with a guy like Willie Jefferson and try to prevent him from taking over the game?
Yeah, there's obviously you got to be very mindful of, and obviously we know where he's going to be most of the time, you know, and you can do a variety of different things. I think you've seen, you know, different teams have different schematic things they do to him, whether they put a tight end next to him, they chip him with a back coming on the way out, they put an extra O-lineman to that side, you slide the O-line to that side, have receivers come down and hit him. You know, get guys that, you know, fake to hit them and another guy hits them. You just got to be aware of them. And I liked what Christian said earlier. At the end of the day, you really got to use great technique when you go against him because he's somewhat unpredictable. There's some things that you know he's going to do, and you've got to play to those tendencies, but he's fully capable of doing other things. And he is long and he's athletic and he's a great football player. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer in my mind. So with those guys, you know they're going to make plays. You got to be mentally tough enough to say, hey, he's going to make some. What we can't do is not use our technique and let him make a play. If he makes one, we get great technique and we do all these things schematically and he still makes a play, well, hell, he's a hell of a player. He's going to do that. But we got to do our part first to stop him. And so we've paid mind to that. Trust me, we respect their whole defense. But obviously, he is a game changer on that side of the ball. And you know, they've got plenty of them over there, but he's definitely one that you better pay attention to.
Have you and Cody talked about this week how to go about throwing around or over that guy's
Yeah, I
guys?
mean, you'll see it. I mean, I think most people know. I mean, it's hard to do certain things to his side. I mean, he does take. It's like having a shut down corner to one side that can take completely one side of the field away. I mean, when you go to that side, you better be prepared for, you know, better be perfect, you know, because he'll make you pay if you're not. So, you know, there is such a thing as going strength versus strength, but there's another thing where, you know, there's certain things it's not worth it. The risk isn't worth the reward, you know, at times. So again, it comes down to an awareness factor of where he is and what he can do. And then from there, you got to play football and got to be confident that the plan is the plan and you use technique and we're physical football players and, you know, we're professionals as well. He's going to go up against guys that can get the job done. It's just a matter of us getting it done more than he does.
Jason over here. What does it mean to you you mentioned iron sharpens iron. You're in the locker room of your good friend is the head coach. Have you spoken to Orlando this week and does it feel a little serendipitous to be in that locker room?
Yeah, I mean, he texted me early. Obviously, we saw him after our last game and congratulated and all that stuff. And I know that's all small talk, you know, after games. but the text and things like that always mean something to you, especially when they come from a great friend. You know, he's got 2 great friends in this game, so I'm you know, very fortunate to know Orlando and feel so strong about him and his family. It means always a lot when it comes from someone like that to wish you good luck, and you know, if you need anything, don't be afraid to call, kind of thing. And then obviously appreciate like hell what the Hamilton Tiger Cats have done for us here, you know, with the facility being so gracious. It's a great facility, and we've been treating it with as much respect as you can imagine. And it's something new to us because we don't have this at home, and so it's something that our guys have definitely, you know, it means a lot. It means a lot. That's all I'll say. So yeah, it's a heck of a deal that we're dealing with here.
And on that, just on that path, correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a few years, but did you learn the practicing with music from 12? Because I remember being on the field, and Scott Milanovich had very much the same kind of idea of guys can play with music, and yet when it's time to coach them up, you take it off.
Yeah, I think you know, when you go down in South and you travel around and watch different people practice that, you know, we're afforded to do with professional development up here, you know, just about everybody down South had music going at practices, and I think that's probably when I first noticed it, to be honest with you. And then when you start talking to coaches up here, it's like, why wouldn't we do that? You know, honestly, I'm telling you right now, when I go down there or I go to another practice that doesn't have music, it makes it drag on, in my opinion. And it's just so nice to have that. I don't know if it's loud noise. It's like sleeping with brown noise on that I sleep with. I mean, it's just a buzzing that goes, and then you hear a nice tune and you listen to it, and it makes you, you know, think differently about where you are. I like it, so I think it's a good thing. And yes, I mean, we definitely have used it since then. And the other thing it does, I mean, you can have it cranked up and it's loud, and you've got to talk with command as a quarterback or communicate on defense. When you're communicating with guys next to you, it's more like what a game's like, where it's loud, and you know, especially in big moments of games. So it allows guys to practice that communication and not have it like, you know, it's so quiet. Like most of our games aren't like that.
Do you have a say in a song? Have you
I don't have a say in any songs, to be honest with you. I think this year maybe there's been a couple times I've had requests, but you know, and obviously if I'm asking for something, it's going to get done. But I try not to use that card very often. It's not worth. The music's not worth it to me to have that. To use that card, I don't use it for the music. Let's put it that way.
Merci, Coach. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.